Have you been wondering if you have the skills and talents that it takes to start an online business? Well, I have pretty good news for you. You probably do. It is possible to build a virtual assistant business from home using skills that you already have. Today, I'm just going to take you through a 3-step process on how to identify those unique skills and talents that you already have and how to translate those into the online space for your virtual assistant business. It's going to be a good one, especially if you're just starting to dive into this industry. All right. Alright, so let's get started. If you don't know me yet, my name is Sharon Nissen. I am a virtual assistant mentor and I'm the creator of The Support Squad, which is a podcast and membership community just for virtual assistants. I'm so excited to share this with you guys today because I think so many of us here, you can use your existing skills and talents to start a virtual assistant business, but we can't kind of connect the dots on how that works. How does my past as a preschool teacher, and that was me, translate into being a virtual assistant? Today I'm going to teach you how to kind of open your mind a little bit, how to think outside the box and start to identify those places where you can leverage your already awesome skills that I know you already have into a successful business. The first step, the first thing I want you guys to do is to identify those natural skills and strengths. And the best way to do this is to sit down. After this is over, I want you to grab a pen and paper. I want you to sit down and I want you to think back on all of your past job experience. And I want you to start to write down the things that you have innovated and created, either in your past work experience or in your life experience, where you have innovated or created something that has made your life better or has made someone else's life better. So to take you through this entire 3-step process, I'm actually going to be using my own life and my own business as an example. So I'm going to go way back to when I was first starting as a virtual assistant and the experience that I had to draw from. This is where you guys are going to learn that I have lived 1,000 lives. I've had a very varied work experience. I've had a very kind of colorful past, and none of it was in the online space. When I stepped in as a virtual assistant, I had very little actual experience online. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the experience that I did have and the lessons that it taught me about the skills and strengths that I possess. As I'm starting to go into this, I see a couple of you guys on right now here on Facebook. I would love for you guys to drop in the comments. Let me know your past. What have you done in the past? What have your jobs been? Are you a stay-at-home mom? What kind of industry or career are you coming from? Drop in the comments and let me know where you guys are coming from. To identify my skills and natural talents, as I was just getting started before I had any online experience, I looked back first at, for 4 years, my husband and I managed an organic farm in Colorado. There wasn't a lot of online stuff going on there. One thing that I innovated in that job and that I created in that job were repeatable SOPs or standard operating procedures for our interns. Every summer we had a cycling crew of farm interns that would come and stay with us and help us on the farm. We had to come up with systems for how to quickly train them each time. That was something that I created. I made sure that everything that we did on the farm was a repeatable process. We did the same thing the same way each time. I recorded little videos of how we would do things. I wrote things down so that it was easy for that next intern to come in and we could quickly train them. That was definitely something that was a huge strength of mine and a place where I innovated. This was a key part too. It was something that I really enjoyed. Let me tune in real quick with you guys as you're leaving your notes. Let's see, Catherine is a nurse. Awesome. I know you have experience to draw from there. Deborah, hey Deborah, financial service and ex-military, and I know you have tons of strength from that background. Let me go through a few more of my odd past jobs and how I drew my strengths from them. Another place that I worked was a preschool. I was a preschool teacher for 2 years when my daughter was really, really young. I came into the classroom. I was not very familiar with too much when it came to working with kids, but one thing that I loved doing was creating, themed modules and then creating these beautiful bulletin boards that went with them, and the parents loved them, and I innovated this in our classroom. I came up with these concepts myself, and that was another place where I felt like I was creating something new and I was tapping into innate creativity inside of me that really made me excited to come to work every day. Another part of my past life, I owned a photography business, and one thing that I loved with photography was marketing. Any photographer can tell you that a huge part of their job is marketing. And I lived in a very small town. A lot of my marketing was very word of mouth. I did a little bit of online marketing, but I had to be really creative. But again, that was another place where I was creating something for my business, and it felt aligned with my talents, and it was fun for me. Those are the kinds of things I want you to start thinking about in your past jobs. Where did you create something new for yourself or for your employer that made your life better or made their life better, that made things easier, that improved upon something? Start to think about those places too where you really felt in alignment. And when I say in alignment, I mean where your skills also matched things that you enjoy doing. So those things that made the workday fly by. Start making a list of those things. And that is your step one, to identify your natural strengths and talents. When we move into step two, it's about matching those skills and talents with services that you can provide as a virtual assistant. Of course, I'm not going to be creating bulletin boards as a virtual assistant. I'm not going to be, creating standard operating procedures for farm interns, but I can translate the skills that I used in those areas into services that I can provide in my business. So one thing I want you guys to do, if you haven't done this yet, on thesupportsquad.com, I have a free 5-day video series that also comes with a 50-page ebook about how to start a virtual assistant business. And in that ebook, I have a list of hundreds of services that virtual assistants can provide. What I want you to do is go through that list and start to see where you can draw connections between a service on that list to something that you've done in the past. Because sometimes we just can't see it. Like, how does my experience as a farm manager creating standard operating procedures have anything to do with podcast management? But when I think about it, what I was doing there was creating a repeatable process that made work more efficient, and that could be completed again and again. It helped us to scale our business. It helped us to bring on interns and all of that. And that is something that has actually translated exactly into podcast management for me. With my clients, I create standard operating procedures where, it's the same thing each week. We can easily bring on subcontractors and things like that. And it's repeatable. And so the same skills that I used to create those SOPs on the farm is what I used to manage my clients' podcasts. We'll go into more of this in step 3. Sometimes, it's about using your existing skills and then learning the technology that will take those skills online. So you're going to have to do a little bit of legwork, but we're going to go into more of that in step 3. The other thing that I drew on from my past was, I created these modules and bulletin boards, these beautiful displays for my preschool classrooms. And so I was, of course, thinking about what is visually appealing, and I was using all of these creative skills. And that really, for me, translated into graphic design. It's like I've always been a really artsy person, a really creative person. And so it made sense to me to think about offering graphic design as a service, even though I'd never done that before. So that was another place where I could make a connection between visual creativity into an online service. Another thing that I looked at with my photography business was the marketing. And a lot of what I was doing was writing stories just on my own personal social media about the experiences I was having with my photography clients, about how important having family photography was. So it was kind of a low-end social media, but what it really opened my eyes to was the power of content creation and how by creating content we can really connect with our clients and with our customers and convert followers and friends and fans into paying clients. I started thinking about where I could offer that same expertise, that marketing skill that I had into an online business. Now that we've done those first two steps, so first was identifying those natural skills and talents. Second was connecting those natural skills and talents with more virtual services. And then the third part is going to be figuring out how to refine, package, and scale that service. Once I've decided that SOPs are my things and I can create systems for my clients, it's about learning the technology and all of the pieces that I need to know to bring that into the virtual space. So for me, when I realized that SOP creation translated into podcast management for my clients, I started thinking about what are the pieces that I don't know right now that I could teach myself or that I could learn to turn it into a marketable, valuable, profitable skill. So I want you guys to know, of course, that almost anything you want to learn, you can learn for free online. You can find it in blogs, you can find it on websites, you can take courses, you can find the answers to everything. If you've decided that you want to offer a service, just go all in and figure out what you need to do to bring that to life. When I took on my first podcast management client, again, it was not something I'd ever done before. Podcast management was not in my experience, but I knew I had the skills to create processes and to learn. What I did was learn what is everything involved with managing a podcast. And I knew that I needed to have a place where my clients could see everything that was happening. So I learned about Trello as a project management tool. I knew I would have to learn how to edit. So I did some tutorials on how to edit a podcast, all on YouTube, free. And then I started putting together all of the pieces. And before I knew it, I had this marketable package skill that came from my own innate strengths. And by adding just a little bit of research and a little bit of free online learning, I now have this highly valuable skill that I could offer to clients. You might think when you hear people say existing skills, you might think, but I've never worked as a podcast manager. It's just about connecting the dots and then filling in the gaps. So focus on your strengths and then learn where you can fill in the gaps using all of the free resources available to you online. The other place I drew from, of course, the journey I went on was I made bulletin boards in a preschool classroom. So I could do graphic design. What do I need to learn in order to offer graphic design as a service? And pretty quickly I learned that Canva was this amazing tool that was drag and drop, easy to learn. I spent some time playing around with it, did some tutorials, and before I knew it, I felt comfortable enough that I could offer that as a service to my clients. So again, it was taking that existing skill of visual creativity, sprinkling a little bit of virtual learning on it, and voila, a packaged, marketable product that I could offer to clients. So then that third, I did like a little floopy thing with my hand. The third thing that I did was content creation, like I talked about with my photography business, how I had to take clients through this journey and create content that engaged them so that they would hire me as their photographer. I started to think about how I could take my own storytelling and my own using content and help serve clients with it. And for me, that came down to taking my clients' content and repurposing it and reconfiguring it in lots of different ways for social media. So I thought about and learned about all of the different ways that content is shared online. And then I learned as many of the tech pieces and all of those strategies and things that I could about content creation. And voila, another amazing service to offer for clients. If you're thinking right now that you don't know how your skills as a nurse or ex-military translate into virtual assistant, you're gonna have to think a little bit outside the box. You can't think that it's gonna be a direct translation from existing skills to online business, but think about what you can take from your past experience, those innate skills and talents, what you can sprinkle on it with a little bit of virtual learning to round it out and make it a packaged, marketable skill and service that you can offer to clients. Every single one of you I know has skills and talents that you can offer the world that are valuable. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe every person does. And none of us know everything. But if we take the time to learn and fill in the gaps of what we don't know on the path to creating something that is really exciting and fun and makes us excited to get up and work every day, it's worth it to take that time to do that discovery process. So I hope that you guys will all take the time to discover what you're so great at. There is something in there, I know it, even if you don't feel it yet, even if it's not clear yet. Think outside the box, because I guarantee you can find something. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I will see you at the same time next week, and I hope you guys have an awesome Wednesday. Thanks you guys. Bye.